You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Real World After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Real World After Show.
Yo, what up, AfterBuzzers? Bing is for doing, and we are doing another AfterBuzz TV After Show for the Real World Season 27, Episode 5, Clear Break. I'm kind of questioning where we came up with the name Clear Break. So you guys, all the requests we get, and I kicked everybody off the damn show. So it's just me. I'm just kidding. My other hosts couldn't be here tonight. They apologize, and I'm going to carry us through here tonight. Hopefully we can get Steamer on the line. And in studio, in the production room, I think we got Ben. Ben's running the ship. Yes, Ben, so just let me know when we get Steamer up and about. Tonight was a really interesting episode for me personally. I know we've kind of been going back and forth with whether we think the season's a little slow and entertaining. Some people are saying it's the best season yet. I gotta say, when we put them into situations, although I felt last week, totally thanks, shout out to Trey Swift for calling in, but last week, the episode kind of revolved around Swift and this whole foot incident. Although it had its funny moments, I kind of felt it was a little, let's get a little more to the storyline. This week, I had a lot, actually. I got to say, I haven't been taking that many notes on the show, but tonight we had quite a bit going on. They got their job. I was really excited about that. And, Trey and Swift, they both pointed out this was going to be a very interesting job. Definitely agree this is by far the best job any of the Real Worlders have had. I would love, and we kind of called it out too, that I was going to be having to do sea urchins. We kind of called it out. This is an interactive show, guys. We want you guys to call in as well, 424-256-1729, and let us know why this is your favorite show. What makes you such a Real World fan? I'm also in the chat as well, so if you guys are commenting, I can read your post there, hopefully. I don't know if that's what we got going on here. I think I'm doing it kind of bad with technology. But let's just jump into this. I didn't know LaToya didn't drink. That was actually very interesting to find out, but much respect to her for that. And then let's just break into Brandon. Love the kid. He's by far, him and LaToya are my favorite cast members on this. LaToya just cracks me up. But Brandon,
you've got a caller.
Caller, you're on the line. What's your name? Where are you from?
Yeah, it's a Steamer.
Steamer! What do we got going on, bud?
Not much. How you doing?
I'm doing well, actually. I gotta say, this episode a little more entertaining than what we've seen. No love triangle. Other than LaToya and Little Lee, which I was totally all for that. But I just get. What's that?
Do you think, like I do, like Lee's trying to move in on LaToya?
All right. Well, I was gonna go into Brandon. Let's go into that actually. Yeah, I kind of see Lee making his little way. I think he's kind of being won over by the cameras and being on MTV and whatnot. I think he's kind of thinking like a man, using his dick. Well, in the moment, I got LaToya. She's digging me, but she ain't gonna be here after 3 months. A couple more months, she's gonna be gone. So let me kind of get my airtime. This is probably the biggest thing going on. I mean, he drives a boat from one island to the other. This is huge for him. You know, him and his dad are running the boat for MTV. That's gigantic. However, I thought it was interesting, and I knew something was. I felt something was going to be fishy, whether he didn't like her or whatnot. When they were on the boat the first time, and she was like flirting with him, and he was just kind of like, he didn't really know how to handle it. Until later, the only time I kind of thought he was really into it was when he was throwing the balls, talking about, LaToya, you want to come play with my balls? But yeah, I kind of felt like there was something he was kind of pulling away for some reason, and obviously to come find out he's almost, I mean, damn near engaged to a girl, so...
Yeah, but what was up with Lee, the father, telling them that? Like, why would he blow his son's spot?
I mean, well, at the same point, I really don't know, because we haven't got. Maybe we'll get to know Lee a little more. He could be a little player. I mean, clearly, the only thing that I can honestly think of is if the two have been together for a really long time and the family really likes her, for him to say, "Don't get my son in trouble." You know, maybe Lee's been through some stuff, and he finally has himself a good girl, and the father's like, "Oh, he's gonna go up and mess around with this reality TV broad." And I'm just kidding. So I don't know. Along that lines, is the only thing that I can think of.
The whole thing just seemed like bizarre to me, just watching it unfold tonight. Like, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll have to see where it goes from here.
Right. I mean, I want to talk about Brandon though, because. Again, I love him. I love the kid. Absolutely love him. But question, can you be addicted to liquor but not an alcoholic? Isn't that what addiction is?
I would think that's the whole thing. Like, normally, like, I don't, like, drug addicts, like, cut off alcohol as well, because it's, like, all part of the addiction.
Exactly.
I don't know personally, but just that's why I would gather just by thinking about it.
And I mean, you know, but that's, you know, it's really hard for an alcoholic to admit to it, which we find out he does later on. But we just see, I mean, I know I'm going to totally jump from reality show to reality show right here. I've been watching Mob Wives Chicago, and there's one character there where she's just, you can see right through her. And with Brandon, at first I couldn't see right through him, and now I'm starting to see similarities in the two characters, and it's really kind of interesting to me. I feel like there was something very traumatic that happened to Brandon when he was younger. Whatever it may be, I think they might have touched on it a little bit, but I wrote this down, I really want to get to know the psyche of Brandon. I want to know where Brandon came from, what his upbringing was like. He has this childlike behavior, and it almost, to me, lets him get away with a lot of the things he does. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. It's the way he, like, carries himself, like, even tonight, like, getting ready for, like, the girl to come over, and, like, he has like some sort of like childlike enthusiasm about him that people just see, like tonight, they're like, oh, we wish him well, like they treat him like a little kid, because that's sort of like how he comes off at sometimes. Exactly.
And I mean, that's where we bring up the redeeming qualities for Brandon. He has these redeeming qualities with him. However, there was one thing that, you know, Trey kind of aggravated me with tonight. I felt like he was kind of not making fun of Brandon, but there was one comment where Trey was like, what did he say?
She's out of his league, or
yeah, she's out of his league, or he was laughing at him for lighting the candles, and it's just like, I loved how Rob and everyone and LaToya, they were, you know, kind of big brothering him in the fact of like, oh, good for him. I'm glad that he, you know, is excited and taking these extra steps. And then to see a different side of Brandon, I believe it was Rob that said, you know, it was awesome to see you cleaning the house and cleaning. It reminded me of my little brother. Like, won't do shit around the house until it's something really personal for him, and you know, he wants everything to be perfect in the right way. And then you see him vacuuming, and it was just a good scene to kind of let us know a little bit more about Brandon. What did you think about the whole Alyssa situation?
when we saw her a few episodes back, it struck me as she was the type that saw the camera and wanted that sort of attention. Like, I didn't see any sort of connection that she would have with Brandon. She just wanted to get on TV. That's the way she struck me as. And why she didn't show up tonight to get on TV further, I don't know. But there's just something not right with that those two trying to hook up, what have you.
Right. And I mean, I think Adam was the one who stepped in, you know, and made that comment of she's in it just to be on TV.
Yeah.
But if that was the case, I don't understand why she called him, why she set up like, hey, let's hang out or, you know, do something. To me, that's kind of...
Why would you go through that trouble?
Well, and then not come through. Exactly. So my thing could be, you know, maybe she could be kind of feeling him, you know. Sometimes our trips take longer. I don't know. So I'm not going to fully shun the girl out. I don't like that.
Shun.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that Brandon gets so attached to girls. You know, as drunk as he got, it just shows us that Brandon wants to be loved, wants to have love. He wants his own, and I don't want to say thing, and I'm not calling females a thing, but I just think he wants his own thing, situation.
Yeah,
something he can call it.
Like something going on in his life, as opposed to seeing his roommates go through what they're going through, and he's like feels alone. Like, yeah, he wants to feel included by having somebody with him.
Exactly, but I'm not taking it beyond that. I don't even think it's just because the other roommates have it. I think that this is something that you know, Brandon really, really wants in life. Because for
like personal life outside the show?
Yeah, because even for him to get that drunk and then call his ex-girlfriend, the way he was talking about her, it's the same way he talked about Laura, the same way he talked about Alyssa. So to me, it's kind of, he's looking for a certain type of girl, someone who just accepts him. And, you know, even the fact with Alyssa, you don't even know the girl, but you're sitting here saying, you know, I don't have this. There's no reason why she should like me. And, well, now you're putting yourself down because you're not an ugly-looking kid. Yeah, you don't have Trey's body or Swift's body. You aren't walking around with these bodies. But at the end of the day, look at it. Rob doesn't have those qualities. He's tall, yeah.
Brandon has like a certain charm to him, at least. Like, he seems like a good enough guy, so he has that going for him too.
Exactly, and
he's a personal guy. And
you know, sometimes you just got to be that. Sometimes you are that person. That person sometimes gets the more attractive girls. Because to me,
yeah.
I mean, Alyssa was very attractive. I definitely wouldn't say out of his league though.
No.
But what can be unattractive is that giving off, oh, she's better than me, or I'm not worthy of her. That adds to the
negative vibe. Like, I'm not good enough for you. Like, yeah, it's definitely not becoming on someone like that.
Exactly. But again, very interesting to see the world of Brandon. I think he's a great cast member to be thrown in here. I want to know what you guys think about this whole Brandon situation. 424-256-1729. As much as people were saying he reminds us of Frank from last season, yes and no. I don't think he's as violent as Frank. I think he's more violent. I think he's violent, but to himself. I think he would hurt him in that sense of it. I think he hurts himself mentally, where Frank lashes out every time he was drunk and was lashing outward, where I think Brandon lashes inward. I don't know, just a little something. But for you guys at home, we're actually here at AfterBuzz TV, and we really appreciate all the love you guys give us every single week. You guys are very flattering with the comments that you guys leave for us here on the show. But we really need your help here at AfterBuzz. We do this for free, and we would really, really appreciate if you guys could help us out with Amazon. If you guys are purchasing anything online, all we ask for you to do is just go to AfterBuzzTV.com first. At the top, you'll see an Amazon button. Just click that. It'll bring you to Amazon.com, and just make your purchases through AfterBuzz TV. So just come to our website first. It'll bring you to Amazon, and it helps us keep the lights on here, helps us continue to bring you all this content and be able to have these discussions. So we really would appreciate it if you guys could help us out in that way. again, let's get into this whole aquarium job. I thought that was really cool. Jealous, actually, I must say. I would love to work in an aquarium and be able to do the things that they're doing. It's not like they're like working in the gift shop or, you know, selling peanuts and things throughout the aquarium. They're actually like working with animals.
Like they're involved in like the whole like day-to-day operation as opposed to just like selling T-shirts.
And I actually did have a little LOL moment, as I think I will call it. We had Laura. They're taking the tour of the aquarium, and all of a sudden, who just can't keep her hands off damn animals. She has her hands inside the shark tank, and like the shark came up, and she was like, "Whoa!" And like, to me, that was just a little laugh moment because you knew it was her damn well going in there reaching for the damn animals. But then they have to take this interview test, and we'll go for the interview. And I thought those were really funny. And again, not the best episode for Trey. Whether it was the editing and the way that they filmed it, I felt like Trey threw everyone under the bus in the interview.
Yeah, he definitely did. He definitely threw them all under the bus. That was one of the things I wrote down in this episode. He just went crazy on throwing them under the bus in an interview. Like, I don't know what his end goal was, but it's kind of shady.
Right. I don't know what it was either. Also in the sense of LaToya doesn't drink. So you just threw her in this category. I don't know. I didn't like that. So Trey, if you're out there, let's get a call and to discuss your position on this whole situation tonight, because I was a little disappointed. You know, you got my hopes up with the interview.
Rocking that pirate hat as he was saying it.
He said in the pirate hat during the interview. Really? No. So they do these interviews again. Brandon's interview actually really cracked me up as well. He's like, dude, like, I watch Planet Earth all the time, which I do too, so I can't front. So if you guys don't know what Planet Earth is, I'm just going to throw it in again. Go to AfterBuzzTV.com, hit the Amazon button, and it'll bring you right to Amazon. Purchase the Planet Earth DVDs. Do it. We
got another caller.
Caller, you are on the line. What's your name? Where are you from?
Bobby calling from Orlando, Florida.
What up, Bobby?
I just want to comment on the Trey situation. Yeah, Trey was just like came off like a dick in this episode.
Agreed.
Just the whole.
Well, what did you get? Because there's actually a couple more scenes that Trey actually, I was just like, really, bud? But he did explain to us with the house cleaning. He did say that was going to come up, and he might come off looking like a dick. So I can understand that if you guys are in the house, that can get annoying living with people who are dirty. But go ahead, explain to us what you didn't like about this episode with Trey.
I didn't like about the job where he just he threw everybody under the bus, and then when he said the girl for Brandon was out of his league. Yeah. And then.
So you're rooting? Are you rooting for Brandon? I think everyone's. I mean.
Yeah, I'm rooting for Brandon. He's like I like him out of everybody. I just find least favorite is Trey because I don't find him that interesting on here with the whole lore couple thing. I find that kind of boring.
Whoa. Got some action going on back there yourself. Yeah, you know, I mean, even Trey says, you know, they made it kind of look like it's all about the relationship thing. But I think for me, this episode is probably one of my favorites because it had so much going on. It wasn't just that one situation. We bounced around from even LaToya and Brandon, you know, when they had to do that swimming little test. I thought that was really interesting that Brandon came back for her versus everybody else.
It was one of the best episodes. Like, so far you had so many stories going on instead of like last episode where we just had the Swift thing basically the whole episode.
Well, and let me just ask you before we get you off the line. Last week we had the whole Swift versus LaToya situation. And what was your take on that? Who did you think was right?
I think LaToya was right because just like it seemed like Swift overreacted, and then he made it seem like she just like clucked him in the head with the paddle and just left him in there
to die, right?
Yeah.
Agreed. So I mean, shout out, love to Swift, but we all got to side with LaToya on that one. But it seems like they're kind of meshing, getting a little along better this episode. He went back. Do we think he went back because he honestly cared, or went back to kind of just be like, you know what, to prove a point? I think it was sincere.
Yeah, I think it was sincere.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for calling in. Make sure you leave some comments and call us back next week as well. And we appreciate you making a call.
Thank you.
So, again, before we get into the next topic, we love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. You guys are totally watching us on YouTube, and we really, really appreciate that. But we would also really, really appreciate if you guys help us out on iTunes. I know I say this every single week, but there's a reason why. There's so many real-world podcasts out there, and AfterBuzz isn't one of the top. Are you kidding me? So please, 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 whether you want to just watch us, which I totally don't mind if you want to just watch me the whole episode, I would love it. But if you could just go to iTunes, hit subscribe, and just download the podcast. They're free. Just rate 5 stars and leave some comments.
You got one more caller.
Caller, you're on the line. What's your name? Where are you from?
What up, Jesse? It's Andrew. I called him last week.
Hey, what's up, Andrew? How we going? How we doing?
Good. I'm doing good. How about you guys?
I'm doing good. Steamer, how you doing?
Doing good. How we doing, Steamer?
Not too bad. How about you?
Doing good.
How you liking the real world, the episode?
To be honest with you, I haven't seen it yet because I'm on the West Coast, but I wanted to call in to clear up everything that happened last week.
Yes. I don't know if you guys heard last week. Last week we got really excited because we've been talking about this whole Laura and this adoption papers, and we kind of feel like she uses that as a to kind of pick up guys. So go ahead, Andrew, and explain what happened last week.
Well, what she said was, and as soon as Trey direct message to me, he seemed a little upset, but as soon as he said something, I re-listened to the episode, listened to that part about 30 or 40 times, and it made it seem like that, which it totally did on air, but I honestly don't. I believe it too, so, well,
we can put it like this. Whether she feels it does or not, when it keeps coming up, it's almost like, girl, let's just settle it down. We appreciate it, but the papers weren't needed. Love you, but the papers weren't needed. Thank you so much, Andrew, for calling in. Please, after you watch the episode, hit us up and leave us some comments and tell us what you thought of the episode.
For sure, I'll definitely watch it back.
Awesome. All right, let's move into this whole cleaning situation again. I'm starting to like Rob more and more as well. Rob and Marie, I'm starting to like their little dynamic with the whole peanut butter thing. You're stuck in a house. You're making a big deal about cleaning. Hell yes, I'm going to take peanut butter, smear it all over the place. I would have done it on all the counters, though. But they weren't slick about it because I would have done it when everyone was sleeping. And just been like, oh, well, smart. I don't know where it went. And I'm still upset that Brandon still took the rap for the fish as well, actually. From last week. I don't know if you remember that, Steve. But coming down to this whole the whole situation with the cleaning, and Rob and Laura's story, Rob and Marie's story. Sorry, I can deal with their little romance because it's not like mushy gushy like Trey and Laura. I don't know why I get these two girls' names confused all the damn time. Why it's not as similar as Trey and Laura's story.
Yeah, it's not like over the top like Trey and Laura. It's more like subtle, like flirtation that could lead to something. Like Trey and Laura was like right at the moment, like the second day they're kissing on the Ferris wheel. Like the whole Rob and Marie is like it's more of like a slow build. Exactly.
And then do we think anything's gonna grow out of this LaToya and little Lee situation?
I don't think so.
No.
I think it might come back at one point, but it seems like something will happen with her and Swift. Like, we'll probably get into predictions. It just seems headed that way. Like with her saying, like she was keeping it cordial, like when she was mocking him out for when they're walking into the aquarium, but then like her feeling loyal to him after he came back, after she had her little incident in the swimming. So it seems like they're headed towards that in that direction, which is pretty cool since I like both of them. I like to see something more going on with them together.
Exactly. And then before we head to a commercial break, because there's so much to hit in predictions, I'm going to actually ask you this before we go into predictions. Do we think Brandon's going to actually go through with this AA meeting? Do we think that there's going to be a recovery in this situation? Or do we think a lot of people, in the moment, you had a really bad night, you kind of reflect on it the next day. Here you are working out, and working out for me, not a fan of it. But when I do it, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna eat healthy. I'm gonna only buy greens and vegetables, and I'm gonna live my life this way.
You got another caller,
and
Jesse.
it never goes, never kind of happens like that. Caller, you're on the line. What's your name? Where are you from?
All right, I guess you don't.
All right. So, Steamer, I mean, do you agree with that in the sense of, some people are allowed to talk when they say they want to do something? What do we think?
Just like if you go to a gym on like January 1st, January 2nd, like basically the first few weeks of January, you'll see a crowd because everyone makes the New Year's resolution. I'm going to work out. I'm going to get into shape. But then after a while, they don't. They just realize they just fall back in their old habits. People, when they see themselves at a low point, they want to talk themselves up like they'll change it. So, like in terms of like Brandon, like I think he will, since he obviously seems like he kicked the addiction of some serious shit. Like I don't know when he said in the first episode, like a year or whatever it's been. Like so, he's been there before where he's cut something out of his life. So now this is just like another step, getting rid of alcohol. So
right.
It seems like he'll want to do it. It's a matter of if he can just stay on that path for an extended period of time, which will be very tough considering where he is.
We're going to try this again. Caller?
Caller, you're on the line. What's your name? Where are you from?
Hey, what's up? It's KC from Columbus.
What up, KC? Thoughts on tonight's episode? Were you digging it?
I actually thought it was like the best episode so far.
Agreed.
I like the beginning part is just like, kind of goofy, little laughs in there, but I think it's the best episode so far.
What were some of your thoughts on the episode as far as the new job? We brought up, we were kind of disappointed with some of the things Trey was saying on the show. What do you got?
Yeah. That kind of took me by surprise because, like up until now, Trey seems like, chill, cool dude, and he just like, try and put himself on the pedestal. So I was just like, well, where did that come from?
Well, question, do you guys honestly, do we look at Trey as maybe as the father of the house that he calls himself? I never looked at it like, I never saw him in that vein at all. No,
I've never seen
they
that.
They might not be showing that like side of it too much. So in terms of that, maybe it's just something underneath the whole show that we're seeing.
Agreed. Could be that. And so before we get you off the line, any other well, other than the fact that we did we had to go back to Laura taking the shit. We could have left that one out because I had forgotten about it, and then she brought it back up, and now all I see is just like a anaconda next to her face.
Not a good visual.
No, not at all. Yeah. But thank you so much for calling in. Make sure you tune in and call us back next week.
Definitely.
We're gonna head into a commercial break. When we come back, we got a lot to discuss. So, Benny, take us to a commercial.
Hey there, good buddies. The handle's Woolly Bear. I'm a truck driving man, but I'm not that old school kind of truck driving man. No, I like to listen to podcasts while I'm driving through these great United States of ours. And my favorite podcasts in the world are from AfterBuzz TV. And why? Because AfterBuzz TV is like a post-game wrap-up show for all your favorite TV shows, like Jersey Shore, Dancing with the Stars, Mad Men, and a whole truckload more. I like listening to my Gossip Girl podcast, catching up with all my fellow fans and getting all the latest news and gossip. No, I got some strong opinions. And AfterBuzz TV lets me share those opinions with thousands of other listeners. Woo-wee, what a feeling. I used to doze off on those lonely stretches of road. And don't worry, I got the cruise control. But now I'm wide awake and listening to all the AfterBuzz TV goodness. Check him out. Give him a holler. And tell him the old Woolly Bear sent you.
All right, and so we are back. And before we get into our predictions, I want to just do a little Twitter shouting out right here. Big shout out to Swift tonight, helping us, pregame the real world with last week's episode of AfterBuzz. Shout out to Marie, who was going to join us tonight, but unfortunately could not. But is definitely going to come in studio. And our homeboy Frank Swaney from last season is going to help us out getting her up in the studio as well. And then also a Twitter shout out to Real World Fans MTV. Absolutely, you're more than welcome to join us on the show. Again, 424-256-1729. And thank you everyone else for tuning in and calling in as well. Let's get into predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right, so Prank Wars is continuing. I'm excited for that. I like pranks. Hopefully they're better than what we've seen, because so far the pranks have been that of Lackluster, the one with the closed peanut butter cans, and then the other one led to someone getting hurt. Let's step it up.
It wasn't the prank's fault. I mean, he got hurt. I mean, that was just his own stupidity.
That's true. Agreed with that.
So, yeah, but the prank itself, was pretty good. I mean, the fact that it led to the whole episode, I mean, whatever. But the prank itself, I liked. So I'm not. Peanut butter sucked. The fish, good.
Agree. There we go. I'm wondering actually if we're going to have an episode next week, because usually they say up next on MTV, and then tonight it was later this in this season. So that'll be interesting to see why they did that, because it's kind of early for them to show the rest of the season.
Normally you get that 4 episodes left or so, and it seems like there's only episode 4, so I'm assuming they have at least 6 more. But
I'm wondering if they're doing it because it has been kind of slow, and I was actually really impressed with what we are about to see. Prank Wars was probably actually the most boring out of all the other things we saw in the commercial. We see Chelsea is coming out, the girl Trey was talking to.
The girl back home.
Yes, and she said, I want to meet Laura. So I'm really excited, because Laura seems like a little bubblegum pop girl, and I can't imagine her with confrontation. I can't. That to me is going to be very interesting.
But do you think Trey told her? Did he tell her about Laura? What they're doing, or is just they're friends?
Well,
I don't remember if he actually told her that we did this, we did that.
That's true. We don't. I mean, I don't know. He said he was honest with Chelsea because they don't hold things back. However, I mean, you can still be honest by saying, I've kind of been kicking it with this girl Laura on the show. She's really cool, and we've kind of been digging each other. But I mean, I don't know if he said that they slept together or how detailed he got with her, but I think it's interesting that Chelsea, that's kind of like a woman's way of being like, no, I want to meet her. That's like a throwdown type.
Or I mean, it could just be like a throwaway line that they just threw in there at the end. This is do a little dick in the promo soup. So you're thinking dick in the promo editing. Okay, could be that too. Yeah. I'm hoping for obviously, I want some Bad Girls Club thrown into the real world. And then we see Swift says that him and LaToya hooked up, which shout outs to last week. Adam totally called that one. But then it looked like LaToya was saying, when did we hook up? So now it looks like they're fighting over, did they hook up, didn't they hook up? And then they look like they get into a really big fight. So that's very interesting as well. And it's not like she drinks, so she wasn't passed out and he took advantage of her. So we can rule that one out. Right. And then again, I'm wondering, because I have also been wondering if someone's going to be leaving the house and we're going to get a new castmate. Rob burning himself. Whoa. Punching himself. The punching one, we saw him punch himself 2 episodes ago, so can kind of expect that. But the burning of that's whoa. That is what that's extreme. That's like, well, why did you read his diary, Brandon's diary, and say anything about it if you're burning yourself? Yeah. You have your own demons you need to worry about.
Exactly. So I'm excited. We want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will have our normal host back here with us next week. Shout out to them for missing it. Damn it. Shout out to AfterBuzz TV. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. Make sure you tune in, same time, same place every week. You can follow me at DJ Jesse J and Steve over at
The Steamer
on Twitter. So until next week, same time, same place. Finally, thank you, DirecTV. Peace.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.